felt about your team's preparation through the week?
Felt good. Guys have, been able to put a lot of the negativity behind them, and really focus on the week at hand. They've done a nice job with that.
You mentioned earlier in the week that your message was that, you need a player to step up and make those plays late in the game. How have you seen the team kind of take that message and respond to it? Obviously, the biggest test will be on Sunday. You want to see.
Well, that's just it. The biggest test will be Sunday. And seeing who will be that guy. But I think more than anything, it's just a matter of just, it's hard to do that in practice, right? I mean, guys are going hard in practice and doing their jobs and all that, and we talk about it, but really it just has to be done, right? I mean, that's the bottom line with it, and excited for these guys on Sunday to get that opportunity.
What's the status of Shaq Griffin playing on Sunday? I know he's been off on the exercise bike during practice this week.
Yeah, we're going to see where he's at today. We get through practice today and then make a determination, on that as we get closer to the game.
If Trey Herndon were to have to go, your confidence in him as a guy that has stepped in the past?
Yeah, he's a veteran player. He's stepped in the past. Sometimes it's tough being in those sort of backup roles like that, but he did a nice job in the Charger game several weeks ago, and he makes the most of his opportunities. So a lot of confidence in him going in if he had to.
How tough is this matchup for your interior offensive line?
It's a challenge. Those two guys for the Giants are big and physical, and it's they're a load in there. So this will be a really good test for our guys. We've much like the Washington game, where a couple guys inside were pretty stout and big. This is the same, type of unit.
Could this kind of show you maybe how far along Luke Ford has come since week 1?
Yeah, it could be. Obviously because it's the next game, but it'll be a really good test for him. A young player going against two veteran guys that have a lot of experience and powerful guys. A little different technique though. Than what we've seen here recently, but still two guys that are really stout in the run game, real physical in the run game, and can obviously push the pocket.
And what do you kind of stress to the whole offense, not just Trevor, but everybody when it comes to going against the blitz as much as you guys will?
You just got to do it one play at a time, and really just trust your rules. Trust how you've been coached during the week, the protection plan. Trust that. If we need to make adjustments, we make adjustments in game, and that's just what we do. But Trevor understands too. You just don't want to sit back there and hold the ball. Incomplete pass and a punt is okay. In games like this, and we make the corrections as we move.
Yesterday I was talking to Tony Gilbert about Devin Lloyd, and he brought up something interesting. Obviously, he's been here for 3 years. He's been a part of 2 different draft processes before this one, and he said that he felt like this process this year was a lot more transparent and that he was part of it, and he knew kind of what was going on, and his voice was heard. So I know Mr. Khan had said, it was going to be more collaborative this year. So can you talk a little bit about how the position coaches were, even they were involved in the draft process?
Yeah, even my own experience, we were a little more open and transparent, and had dialogue across the board at all positions. And I think it's a credit to Trent Balky and his staff for allowing my guys, the position coaches, to be in there and voice their opinions on players. I believe that it can be a collaborative effort. We coach them. They scout them all year. We get a chance to come together in the off season and make decisions that way. And we also understand too that it's not always going to be my way or Trent's way, or the coach may not get his player that he wants. But at least we've had that conversation, on guys, and that's one of the processes that we go through in the off season where, we've got to make sure that we're right, on all those draft picks, and felt like we had a really good draft this past year. Our first draft obviously together, and something that we can build on as a staff, moving forward.
Specifically, like for you, you mentioned it was different for you as well from your own coaching experience in previous drafts that you've been through. Was there anything in particular, like, I don't know if it was like the amount of meetings or who was in the meetings, or can you get a little bit more specific about how it was different from your previous experience?
Yeah, obviously, when you're the head coach, you're in all the meetings.
Yeah.
But when I was the position coach, coordinator, obviously you're on one side of the ball, but it's situations too where you just kind of you read your reports. The guys that they give you to look at, you read your report, and you never know what happens after that because you're never involved in another meeting, and you don't know what goes on behind those closed doors. But this process was really more than that. It was more than just reading a report. It was more about let's sit together and watch film on this guy. If there's two different opinions on a particular player, let's put the film on and let's let the film decide the vote, so to speak. And so that was different, right, for me as a position coach and really as a head coach. Never really had that much interaction with just watching. We watch tape separately, but together with the GM, together with the scouts. You spend a lot of time doing that, and you come away with making smarter decisions.
And with those 2 first-round picks this year, Trayvon Walker and Devin Lloyd, it seems like they've reshaped and kind of energized this defense. How would you evaluate their impact so far through 5 weeks?
Yeah, I think both of them have definitely made an impact that way. They've been positive. They've been good, leaders, on that defense. A defense that, already has some leaders on that side of the ball, and really, from day one, they've been in the mix, right? They've been in that starting rotation, and it's just a matter of them kind of understanding their role and defining their role, and then just working with the other guys, But their impact has been felt already this season. They're young, and they're only going to get better.
When did Shaq hurt his back?
You dressed up today.
Yeah. I'm expecting you to say something profound.
I'm like standing in the bag. You know what I mean?
I got in a little late.
Okay.
Well, when did Shaq get hurt? Was that in the game, or was that like?
It was during the game. Yeah, it was during the game. And there's sometimes too when players get hurt. Sometimes they don't feel the injury until maybe the next day, and then we get them checked out. But yeah, it was during the game.
Agnew, guess on whether or how you feel whether he'll be able to go.
I mean, we'll see today again. To see if he does anything. But want to make sure they're both 100%. Especially at 2 starters. For us, making sure that they feel good, and really too mentally. I don't want that lingering mentally because then it takes away from them being able to play. At 100%.
Do you need to see a player practice during the week to get him to go on game day?
Yes. Yeah. I don't think it needed any more response.
Okay. All right, I think we're going to take the cameras off.